If this wasn't prepared, and this is an emergency statement because they know that something is about to break and they're working against time. Beautiful people, we're living in historic times right now because the unthinkable has happened and it has historic consequences. It's not the first time that a monarch removes royal titles. It happened with the 1917 letters patent issued by King George V, which literally stripped the prince title and all styles from other royals and limited to who could be royal or use those titles. So we're watching it again. This is not the first time it's happened. And then it happened later on, as well as granting titles. Like we see every time a royal gets married, they get a new title granted and gifted by the monarch. But it's interesting and it's historic that King Charles III has pulled the trigger and literally turned Andrew into Mountbatten-Windsor. And at least we know now that Meghan Markle is full of shit because her last name is not Markle Sussex. No, it is Mountbatten-Windsor. That is the royal family name and last name, not Meghan Sussex, for those of idiots who are still spewing those things. And we're going to get into this. And thank you very much. I apologize. I'm publishing at a time, but we have to go into this and see what it means for Prince Andrew. Does it have any repercussions for Eugenie and Beatrice, and for Harry and Meghan? Now, just so you know, this has been done before without fuss and muss. It's just that now we're modern times when people have more access to news and things that are happening. So let's get into this, beautiful people. Well, it had to happen. And many of the sources are saying that we have to thank Prince William the Great, William the Conqueror, for this, because it's thanks to Prince William's pressure that we're seeing what's happening right now. And I'm going to read to you let's start with reading what the statement says, guys. It says, His Majesty the King, His Majesty has today initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles, and honors of Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. His lease on Royal Lodge has, to date, provided him with legal protection to continue in residence. Formal notice has now been served to surrender the lease, and he will move to alternative private accommodation. These censures are deemed necessary, notwithstanding the fact that he continues to deny the allegations against him. Their Majesties wish to make clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. Holy cow. What this means, and let me translate it to you guys, is the following. There's more to come. There's things that are so terrible that they have to act. They have to act. This means that the way they're framing it, the royal family, all the royals, the position of the House of Windsor is saying, we side with the victims because they know that there are victims. That is, the message cannot be clearer. And this is because Scotland Yard has now officially started an investigation into Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. I don't think they will literally have to go to some place where there's no extradition treaty like Dubai. They will be forced to go there because now that this investigation has started, it won't go away. Now, so you know, Andrew is still on the royal website. I guess the most ideal thing would have been for the royal family when they released that statement to be removed from the royal website, because if this wasn't prepared, and this is an emergency statement because they know that something is about to break and they're working against time, because that happens. The press tells them, we're going to release these documents. This is going to be out there. And now, as I said at the beginning of this video, is that because of Prince William? Because with Prince William pulling the trigger, he was very clear, very specific on that show with that he did, where he said changes are coming. And the current king's reluctance to act swifter for almost 3 years, because this is how long the queen has been dead. has only compounded the scandal, made it bigger. In fact, the king was in the process of getting Sarah back into the royal fold by putting them in all the church and all these family events. And the same thing for Andrew, which is what we saw with the disgraceful behavior at the Duchess of Kent's funeral. What does this mean? Well, it means that now it won't be such a scandal, because even though this was done before, it was done in such an era where there were no, call it, social media, no cell phones. So people forget. I mean, people forget the news about 2 weeks ago. So this has been done at least 3 or 4 times, guys. It was done with the Duke of Windsor when the former king who abdicated. That, they can do all sorts of things about the royal titles. And as I've told you before, when I've shown you that Parliament has said in writing, in response to people asking for Harry's title to be removed, that is a matter for the monarch. I do understand that for now, because no changes have been requested to the Succession Act, which basically dictates the succession line in the royal family. So Andrew, if he's removed, now that he's lost all his titles and he goes to Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, they still have to go through Parliament. Parliament has to accept whatever changes the king proposes or requests, or Parliament will propose the changes, just like the Queen did in 2012 when she wanted the Succession Act amended to change it from gender to primogeniture, which means first come, first served, not depending on the gender, and to include Catholics. The Queen requested it, and within 3 months, it was passed, read in Parliament. So now let's watch and see what proposals are being made for the succession line, because whether we like it or not, Andrew still remains in the line of succession. What I'm waiting to see, and I don't know about you, if this is going to affect Eugenie, because you see, the title is born from the fact that their father was a prince. If the father is no longer a prince, they can't be princesses unless the king has made an exception. And it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be absolutely fascinating to see. But what I am wondering is, now that he's been asked to leave, because from what I understand, he's been asked to leave the grounds of Windsor. I mean, he's been asked to leave the grounds of Windsor. Find yourself another home. Bye, bye, bye. Like, go somewhere else. You're not welcome in royal grounds. What does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean that Andrew's now a loose cannon? But it's incredible. I haven't seen any letters patent, but the whole world right now is in shock, I believe, because this means that Harry and Meghan are no longer safe. This means that you misbehave. This paves the way for creating a framework, or a frame or some sort of rules to say, if you misbehave, if you do this, you are no longer royal. You do not have a title. You can't be part of us. It's like a moral clause in order to be a royal, which in my opinion, it should be, because there are guidelines. And by the way, Parliament has been putting pressure on King Charles as well. And Parliament has had enough. So I do believe that this is a combination of Prince William and Parliament putting pressure on Charles. And I do believe that they have threatened Charles as either Andrew or it's you, because Charles does not come out of this one clean. And I was just doing a live at the Sean Atwood channel, and we were talking that the way Parliament and these people work, they look towards longevity. When the Queen was alive and she was older, they already started ignoring requests from the Queen, and they were pandering more to Prince Charles because they knew that he was going to be the next king. Here, we're seeing exactly the same thing. And the difference is that Prince Charles was never a popular prince. And he's not that much of a popular king. Let's face it, I know he has diehard fans, but he's not a popular king. William has always been a beloved, popular, respected prince. He's going to be enormously more as a king. So, and he's younger, and they know that Charles is sick, old, as I said before. So they're looking towards, hey, we got to keep William happy. And also, he plays well for the world. It's a clean slate for everything. I mean, what do you guys think? So that these people that are they're all snakes. They're all thinking of themselves. They're not even thinking of the monarchy, which really pisses me off. But what they're doing is like, okay, we're going to choose William because when he becomes king, and it seems that he's going to be sooner rather than later, we want to be on his good side. And also because it makes sense. It's a, guys, I keep going on about the clean slate, but that's the only way to frame it. We're watching a historic time in modern times, not in past times, because this was done all the time. But in modern times, this is a shocking move and it's very welcome. But again, this sends a huge warning shot to Harry and Meghan that they're next, that they are not untouchable. Because if they're willing to pull the trigger on Andrew, who knows a lot of secrets and everything, they're going to do it with him. It's going to be a piece of cake to get rid of Harry's titles. And Meghan won't have titles. People are saying, oh, Meghan has a title, her own title. No, she's not a royal. She gets to use her husband's titles. So maybe William will grant Harry's his wish that he never wanted to be a prince, that he wants to be a regular guy. Grant, like that's it. Wish granted. Like the Wish Foundation, your wish has been granted. So let's see where it goes. And this is going to have huge implications because now Andrew is not protected by the crown anymore. Kind of. What is Scotland Yard going to do? Because they're coming for him. They are coming for him. So let me know what you think.